3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think anybody can hear me. I don't think anybody's in my live stream. I just started. It's not even been 16 seconds. But I have a really big news update. And I don't know how to explain it to people, so I'm just going to keep this short, simple, and to the point. I am, remember how I told you guys that I am anemic-ish? Well, my MCHC, or MCV, or whatever the hell it's called, is low. Yeah, so, well, here's the problem. So, here's the actual problem. Okay, so I'm really tired right now. I've been up all night, guys. But let me give you hold on. Let me give you an explanation of what's going on, and let me give you guys an explanation. A few days ago, I started to feel slightly lightheaded. Not a lot, but slightly, and I could barely move my muscles. But this has been an ongoing thing for months, years, and whatnot. And about maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago, I was actually feeling okay-ish. Not perfect, but enough to be able to go do daily things and go out and stuff like that. And I had noticed a pattern. I didn't want to share it. But when I was taking the B12 injections, nah, bro, hold on. Listen, hold on, Carlos. Let me explain. So, yeah, no, yeah, hold on, hold on. Let's just hear me out. I have had I've been anemic since at least, I don't know, for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And unfortunately, because of my B12 deficiency for such a long period of time, I have gotten permanent damage to my neurology, into my neurotic brain. So I have had a little bit of damage to my eyes. Let me explain the damage that has occurred to my eyes, because I am not taking that B12 like I should have. And the weirdest thing is, even though your blood level may say 2 or 3 or 400, it may still be low. Well, for me it was. So let me explain. I'm going to give you a explanation that a lot of people may not notice, because they're not like hypochondriacs like I have been in the past. So I recently, in the last 2 years, I have been getting breathless going up even one flight of stairs. Not one flight, but like 2 flights. Get real short of breath. I walk more than a quarter mile and I'm out of breath. And not really out of breath, but close to it. And I'm thinking, okay, it's my heart. Automatically, just straight up heart. It is the heart. It is the heart, nothing else. It can't be nothing else. And so, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about it, like, bro, how the hell do you get short of breath going to go get the mail? Or going, like, how do you get how do you get that bad or so out of shape to that point where you're, like, out of breath? Not, like, out of breath, but it takes, like, a couple seconds to capture your breath. And then I thought to myself, that sounds weird. So, sorry, I'm very tired. 2 years go by, and nothing. I'm anemic. My blood test, my B12 is acceptable. My B6 is acceptable. My folate is low. I'm still trying to figure that one out, and this is why I'm suffering. I have been eating a lot of guacamole. I've been eating a lot of spinach, raw spinach, healthy spinach, and stuff like this, to try to get the folate levels up. Now, that one is really hard to get up, unfortunately. And even when I take methylfolate, I get really bad reactions to all the methylfolates that I've tried. So I can't do it. Even though it is the right folate to take, I get overmethylated, meaning I get extreme anxiety, extreme palpitations. We're talking irregular heart rhythms, the whole shebang. So, I decided to go ahead and buy a cheap branded cyan cobalamin, which is just a cheap generic brand of B12. I tried doing some electrolyte drinks to see if that will get rid of my lightheadedness feeling. It's not really like a lightheadedness where you see stars, but it's more of a lightheadedness where you're like, wow, that sucks type of lightheadedness. But it's not enough where you're like seeing stars or anything like, or you pass out. But it's close. Not that close, but it's uncomfortable. So about 4 days ago, 3 days ago, I took the first dose. I started having palpitations, and my heartbeat was skipping every 3 beats per minute for about the first couple of minutes after about 30 minutes of ingestion. I thought I was having some sort of reaction to the B12. And then all of a sudden, it stopped, and it went back to a normal sinus rhythm. And then I had an extreme amount of energy. Like guys, it's weird. Within 2 hours, I was up everywhere. I was going down the stairs, up the stairs, bro. I went up. I went up. What is it? 8 flights of stairs. I was like, what the fuck? And I went down the stairs, and then I went up the stairs, and I haven't been up a flight of stairs like that in 10 years, maybe. And I went up the stairs, and I flew up the stairs, and I had the breath. And when I got up to the top of the stairs, I was only short of breath for like 5 seconds compared to 5 minutes just a couple of days before that. So I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm thinking, and I take another B12, and then I take another B12. And even though I still feel weak and a little bit lightheaded and disoriented at times, because I do have, by the way, I have been tested, and I do have, unfortunately, permanent neurological damage. Not due to just B12 though. It's also due to the MS that I have. But my MCH, my MCVH or MCHV or whatever the hell you call it, it was low-ish. My iron levels were okay. However, my folate levels are still low. My B12 levels are like 300 when it should be more like 900 to 1,000. Also, my vitamin D level is like 3. So I've been sitting outside in the sun for 20 minutes a day at 12 noon to 1 at noonish to get out in the sunlight no matter what. To get a little bit of vitamin D into my bloodstream because it's a hormone. Anyways, I take another B12. And then I'm like, well, F it. Since it's a water-soluble vitamin, let me take 2 or 3 more of the motherfuckers. And I didn't have any reactions afterwards, so I just keep taking it and taking it and taking it. And then I was able to sit in a chair for at least 3 hours without being dizzy, which is the first time in years. I haven't been able to do that in years, by the way. Seriously. I literally get lightheaded and dizzy sitting in a chair, looking at a computer at eye level because I don't have enough oxygen. Also, I have noticed something with my palms. I noticed that I get cold very easily, right? So my palms, they have almost a bluish tint to them when I'm cold. But the thing is, it makes sense because it's like 79 to 80 degrees outside. So I'm thinking to myself, that's not normal. I'm lacking circulation in my extremities. However, my feet are not as sensitive as my hands when it comes to color tint. Then I thought I had Raynaud's disease or whatever the hell they call it, where it changes like to blue in certain situations. Raynaud's disease or something. I don't know I don't remember the name of it. Anyways, my palms would turn bluish when I am cold, like I don't know why, just because of anemia or because of heart disease. I thought it was either heart disease or anemia. End of story. So lately, I've been looking at my palms, and I'm noticing that the blood seems to be back in the palms more than it's not now. So I'm going to continue to take this B12 supplement, which is 500 mcgs. I'm going to continue to take these pills no matter what. I don't care if I feel anxiety. I don't care if I have panic attacks. I don't care if I have anxiety. I don't care if I've taken too much. I'm going to get my B12 level up to at least 6, 7, 800, and I don't care what the fuck it takes. And I'm being serious about this. I didn't know that I was this deficient in such important vitamins. Even though I've taken B12 injections before, for some reason, I feel better when I take the oral supplement versus the actual cyanocobalamin injections through my intramuscular arm. Now, I've had a prescription to inject these into my arms, but for some reason, I seem to do better just oral, oral B12. Now, am I taking the right one? No, I'm taking the synthetic version of B12. However, I understand that it has cyanide in it, but I don't care because the cyanide version can really bind more than the I don't forgot the name of it, but it's B12 cobalamin, methylcobalamin or something like that. I don't know what the name is. Um, the point I'm making is, yes, I should be taking the methyl version, but I wanted to take the generic version of cyanocobalamin because since the cyanide binds to the cells better, it can punch you with that B12 faster than methylcobalamin. And I have some sort of issues with my digestion system, which causes me not to absorb the vitamins and minerals that I need to. So over the last few days, I've had a change in my mind and my mood. I have been clearer minded in my mood. Last night, when I was driving with the severe weather, I was able to clearly focus on the road, which I have not been able to do in a very long time. I mean, I can focus on the road, but like I feel calm while driving, which is I haven't felt that way in years. By the way, just genuinely serious. I haven't felt that way in years, and I wasn't dizzy when I got out the car. I didn't feel like I was still moving. I didn't feel like I was unsteady on my feet, which is extremely common for me for the last almost 10 years now. And it's all because of the B12 supplements. It really is. It's not because of the medications I take, it's because of the B12 supplements that I've been taking over the last 3 days. I have had a dramatic improvement of, at minimum, my thinking, my thoughts, my processes in my brain over the last 3 days just by taking B12 supplements. I don't know why I'm getting a better reaction time within my brain. I don't understand the concept of that. But I have a marked improvement of my cognitive improvement, and my sensory is slightly improved at the moment. And I'm also able to move my arms easier without feeling weak, meaning I don't have enough oxygen to carry to these extremities. So you get fatigue. If you don't, by the way, if you have a heart disease and you do this and you get tired quickly, which I didn't, I just stopped, that could be a sign of heart disease, fatigue. If you get fatigue almost immediately and you're not, exercising these muscles, but you start getting fatigue when you want to exercise these muscles, well, then there's your problem. Now, I'm really tired, guys. Sorry I have my eyes shut. I haven't slept since. I haven't slept since 6 p.m., 5 p.m. yesterday, maybe. So I'm sorry if I'm acting real tired. Now, my cognitive has been improved slightly. Also, the coloring in my hands, even when it's cold, seems to kind of, like the response time for the blood to come back into the palm has increased a little bit. So that means I need to continue to take the B12 supplement. Now, white people like me have a lot of issues with these weird ass diseases, weird ass, issues with malabsorption and stuff. So, in a combination with eating a burger patty, which has a crap load of iron in it, in a combination of taking B12, a little bit of B6, a very little bit of B3 because I don't like nice and flushes, and B6, pantothenic acid or pentanoic acid or whatever the hell they call it. I don't take those every day because those gives me anxiety, but it does support the body. I'm also taking vitamin C a little bit, and I'm taking other vitamins. I ate a big salad today, which I never do, because I always usually have a reaction to it. However, when you have enough oxygen in your body can process leafy greens and harder to process foods that you would normally have a hard time processing. At the end of the day, my legs feel looser. Like I can pick up my legs now and move them a lot easier. Not perfectly, but a lot easier. And it feels like I could probably exercise now and not get tired or short of breath. So like right now, I'm moving my leg. I haven't been able to do this in years without getting short of breath, but I'm actually moving my leg right now. I'm moving my leg. It's all the way up in the air, and I'm not getting tired doing it. And I'm not getting short of breath doing it when I was getting short of breath before doing it. Now, I noticed that the oxygen level in my feet have increased, and my color is now normal in my feet from the B12. So what this tells me is that I do have a B12 deficiency in combination with folate deficiency. So I am going to stuff my mouth with guacamole, regular, uh, right out the plant guacamole because it has folate in it and it's green. And then a combination of taking B12, I need to give my body back what it has lost over the years. At one point, I will give you guys a hint. At one point in my life, I had a B12 level of over 1200. I don't know what the technological term was, but it was as high as you could probably get it on a blood test result back then. So that was good. Obviously, that's a good thing. But, because, B12, that lasts a long time stored into your liver. And I also noticed that my liver enzymes are getting better over the last two blood tests because the liver's getting the B12 that it needs. So it can now process all the waste of my body and process the blood and stuff like that because and then the oxygen and you're getting that oxygen that the body needs and it's easier to pass the blood the blood that has the oxygen in it and the deoxygenated blood a little bit easier. I also have done this on an oximeter. I'm usually hovering around 97% oxygen saturation when I have it plugged in. Today, I checked it, and I usually hover around 97, 98. Now, without breathing any differently, staying in the same position as I did over the last, 6 months. I don't check it every day. I check it like once every month. I checked it today, and surprisingly, it said 99%. So I went from 97, 98 to 99% almost all the time with no deviation, even while standing and making my heart go about to about 120, 130 beats per minute. It stays at 99% oxygen set. So what that tells me is that I didn't have enough, even though I have blood flow, it's just not enough oxygenated blood because of the lack of B12. This B12 deficiency shit has got to stop, man. This anemia crap has got to stop. I have done so much damage to my nervous system by not getting the proper help, by not getting the proper blood test done. ER rooms should always check at minimum magnesium, potassium, chloride, calcium, sodium, B12, magnesium. In my opinions, I think these should be included in a standard ER visit because that could help So many people, and also of course check the thyroid, and that would help so many people. So many people it would help, and I think it's a waste of money that they actually don't check on the B12 levels, and I think it's sick in the head actually, in my opinion. I think all hospitals should check iron, B12, magnesium, potassium, chloride, calcium. That should be a very standard test in most, and thyroid in in any ER room standardly. So if people do have a deficiency in one of these nutrients, they can get it fixed, and they don't have to keep coming back to the ER room because they passed out because they stood too fast in hot water or something stupid like that, or they're in the desert, they don't have enough iron to get that oxygen to the outer part of their skin, so they pass out. Why do you think most people pass out other than actual heart issue or having a stroke or an aneurysm? It's because they don't have enough blood flow to their brain. So when the brain gets below a certain percentage of oxygen saturated blood, it will cause you to go into immediate sleep mode as a self. Matter of fact, when you feel like you're going to pass out, most of the time it's because your body is in a mode that is trying to protect the brain. It knows that if you collapse to the ground, and you're not dying, of course, like you're just dehydrated or something stupid, or if you're lacking a really high dose of B12 or whatever, or you're anemic, your body will make you sleep, hit the ground, so that it can get blood to the brain. And if the only way it knows is by laying down, then you're going to pass out. So a lot of people don't seem to know this or understand that concept. So the brain is very smart. So if you don't have enough oxygen going to that brain, it will pass you out because it needs the oxygen. That's the only way the brain works, man. It's a sponge. So, anyways, guys, I'm so sorry for talking about this. I really wanted to talk about this. I like I said, I really wanted to talk about this, and I know that you guys don't completely understand this, and some people may understand B12 deficiency, but I'm going to beg you guys, get your B12 level checked, get your iron level checked, get your folate level checked, get your you know what, folate, magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, magnesium, and at least at minimum folate for sure, and B12 should be checked in an ER room every single time anybody goes. If all of those are good, well, then there's something else going on. But if any of those are off, that could be their problem that they're going into the ER room to begin with. An ER room should have a standard testing of B12, magnesium, potassium, calcium, sodium, of course, and then B12, and then magnesium, and of course, do maybe a D dimer test, and maybe a test to check troponin levels for people that may or may not be having chest pains. So, B12 deficiency is anemia. It's pernicious anemia, and it's very fucking miserable. It's a miserable disease. It's a miserable condition. Guys, if you feel weak every single day like I have for years, get a B12 test, and also check iron, check B12, and especially check folate. But don't start taking folate supplements until you get your B12 level up first. So I'm working on that. It's a work in progress. I want to feel good again. I hope for the God I could be able to stand all day like I used to when I was younger. And then I can go get a really great job, hopefully a good driving job soon. Get that B12 level check, guys. I also noticed that my ghosting in my vision is not quite as bad. I know my eyes might seem a little cross-eyed because I'm so tired. But normally, when I do this, Sometimes there's like a ghosting vision effect I've had since about Miami, because I guess that's where my deficiency started, to be honest. And I think it's a lot to do with my ulcers in my esophagus too. That doesn't let me absorb the food that I'm supposed to. So the ghosting effect is not as bad as it was 3 days ago. So there's obviously a connection there with B12. Methylcobalamin, guys, is one of the most important things on this planet, other than iron and other than folate. It is extremely important that you have the right amount of that B vitamin action. Also, your calcium and sodium. Now, you can be extremely B12 deficient, but if you don't have enough sodium, you'll croak within just a few days, especially if you don't have enough sodium. So always, if always be careful to eat some fries with a lot of salt. If you're hyponatremic, because you need to get that salt level up. Other than that, the B12 deficiency is a very serious condition, and I didn't know I had it. But even though my levels are kind of in the normal range for the blood test, the doctor said, it's way too low. So when they see levels of 8, 900, 1,000, they're happy. Or even 700 is okay too, but that's still a lot better than my level of like 300 or 297 or something like that. So get checked for B12 deficiency, iron deficiency, folate deficiency. Also get your thyroid checked to make sure that's okay. Other than that, I've been experiencing all these problems. Now when I get out of bed, I seem to not have any issues with lightheadedness or dizziness. This is just coming from my heart. I usually don't talk about this. It's been a long time, but I think you guys should know this. Anyways, y'all have yourself a good day. This has been the Planet Earth here. Hopefully this will help some of you. Anybody. If it helps one person, I'm happy.